Welcome to the Afro Latina Show. I am your host, Alicia Anabel Santos, La Diosa Dominicana, La Santera. Welcome to episode 105, Surrounded by Mediocrity. So, interesting thing, this was not the show that I was going to record today. I had journaled this morning and done my morning pages, and a lot of different things are rising for me at the same time. First, I'll start with I just finished my 12-week road to recovery. I just finished The Artist's Way, and I've been talking about this for the past 3 months now. The Artist's Way, a spiritual path to higher creativity. And so for the past 3 months, for the past 12 weeks, I have been reading the essays in this book and doing the exercises and the artist dates and the morning pages and reflecting on all the themes that sort of rise for me, the things that are coming up. And there's a deep exploration that happens when you're really connecting to what Spirit wants to tell you. And so I have had a lot of resistance and anger this week because I knew that I would be finishing this journey. And the truth is that I was scared. Morning, mi amor. I was scared that I would not be able to continue my commitment to my writing. I was afraid that once the 12 weeks ended with The Artist's Way, I would be lost and not know how to get back in and not know how to get back up and go back to repeating old self-sabotaging patterns. And so I have started a new commitment. There's a contract at the very end of The Artist's Way, and it's a contract that you sign, a creativity contract, and that you vow to continue to do your morning pages for an additional 90 days. So tomorrow I'm going to be starting my day 90 and counting down to 1. But in addition to that, I'm going to be starting a new journey. It's another Julia Cameron book. It's called The Vein of Gold. It's a journey to your creative heart. And so I'm really excited about this one because it's broken down in kingdoms: the kingdom of story, the kingdom of sight, the kingdom of sound, the kingdom of relationships, the kingdom of attitude, the kingdom of spirituality, the kingdom of possibility. And so I'm excited to be reading a brand new work of hers. So as I said, today's show, the diary, is called Surrounded by Mediocrity. But that wasn't the show that I intended to record today. I had something really spiritually beautiful, this like reflecting on who am I and why am I here. And so we'll do that tomorrow because I read something that really fucked me up this morning. So another book that I'm reading is One Continuous Mistake, 4 Noble Truths for Writers. She's a poet, Gail Sher. Her name is Gail Sher, Sher. Gail Sher lives on the West Coast. She's a psychotherapist, writer, teacher. And the back of the book says she offers a unique and easily accessible approach to the creative process. The wisdom of great writers meets classic Zen teachings, as Sher helps both novice and experienced writers to develop relaxed alertness, avoid distraction, the real cause of writer's block, and develop a daily writing practice. And so I talk a lot about my writing practice and writing rituals and writing discipline. And I talk a lot about intention. And she has been one of the greatest inspirations for me in my entire writer's life. Like, I've been writing since 2001. And that's how long I've been a student of Gail Sher's. And this book is beautiful. But what I'm reading on page 158 today that made me write, like literally I wrote, damn, surrounded by mediocrity. She's talking about in the book writing, mediocre writing. She's talking about lazy writing. She's talking about lazy words, easy words, not being a thinker. So this was the line that made me stop. Well, no, I'll read I'll read it so you can have some context. The chapter is called, so this section that I'm on in the book is a lot about editing and revising. And this section is page 157, Lady Murasaki's Insight. The distinction between a thing well done and a thing done ill obtains everywhere in all circles of paradise and inferno, by John Updike. In the tale of Genji, Lady Murasaki suddenly becomes aware of a new object of interest in her lover's, Prince Genji's, life. One morning, while they are still in bed, a messenger delivers to Genji a letter from the young woman. All of Lady Murasaki's fears, heretofore considerable, instantly fall away when she glimpses the girl's handwriting. She knows Genji well enough to be sure that, no matter how sensual he finds the youth, her shallow inner life, transparent in her penmanship, will not please him. Transparent in her penmanship. That's the key phrase. We try to convince ourselves that a lowering of consciousness won't show. No one will notice. We assure ourselves, knowing full well that even candy bar makers don't get away with it. In the early years of their relationship, Georgia O'Keeffe gave Alfred Stieglitz an urn. Finding it handsome, Stieglitz smashed it to pieces. These things spread, he said, referring to the urn's less than perfect craftsmanship. The vibrations of an item immaculately conceived are very different from those conceived hastily or from a sluggish mind. If we are surrounded by mediocrity, even while we sleep, it will make inroads on our aesthetic sensibility. Okay, so she's talking about writing, and she's talking about, the word selection, right? Is it interesting? Is it engaging? Are we choosing the words that we're trying to say properly? So she's referring to writing, and I think that's wonderful, but that's not why I wrote damn. I wrote damn because on a deeper level, I was feeling like, oh shit, how are we surrounded by mediocrity on a regular? And now I'm talking about people, and I'm talking about the things that we watch on TV, the things that we are consuming, right? Our TV consumption, our social media consumption, our obsession with all things that are no good for us and don't serve us. And so for me, being surrounded by mediocrity, and why I wrote damn is because I was like, whoa, how have I surrounded myself by mediocre things? And for me, mediocrity is things that are beneath me, things that are less than who I am, things that are less than what I deserve. So when you hear mediocrity, what do you hear? Like for me, I'm thinking about people who ain't about shit. I'm thinking about people who aren't standing in their purpose, aren't walking in their vision, aren't planning, aren't executing, aren't taking actions, are incredibly complacent, lazy. When I think about mediocrity, I think about lazy, people who are filled with excuses, people who half-ass things, say they want things and then they never go for it. They dream, they have lots of dreams, but they never take a step toward it, right? That's what I'm meditating on today is like, when will we allow ourselves to elevate to the place that we are meant to be, and do we see ourselves as mediocre? That's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like, yo, I don't know if it sounds arrogant or just shitty, but being around mediocre people or things does not serve me or my work. When I think about the characters that I'm writing, they live in a world. They live in a world and a time that is incredible. It's beautiful. They live in a country that's beautiful. And there's a history that's incredible. It's a lifestyle. And they're thinkers, you know. There are time periods I wish I could live in, the enlightenment, the Renaissance. Like I'm fascinated by, all things, Venice and Veronica Franco, a poet from the 15th century that I absolutely adore. And this time of courtesans and, you know, thinkers and dancers and musicians and enlightened folks. Like for me, the thought of being around lazy people is a complete turnoff. Like I want to be surrounded. I want my kitchen table, my dining room table, my dinner table to be surrounded by people who are visionaries and lovers of life and people who are happy. Like I don't want to sit here, honestly. I want to talk about politics and social justice, but I honestly don't want to talk about this man who's running this country because at this point there is nothing new. There's nothing new to say about that. The only thing that I care to discuss is what we're going to do for our communities, right? For the dreamers and the immigrants and Black Lives Matter and, you know, those of us who are the others. I'm interested in that, like the action. Talk to me about action. Don't come and talk to me about bullshit and mediocre things that don't serve me. I don't want that. So today, as I'm thinking about my writing and elevating my writing to another level, right? Taking my writing to my artist life to another level. All of that starts within, right? It's a complete lifestyle change. So when I say, when I'm looking at Gail Scher's book and she's talking about, surrounding yourself by mediocre words, she's telling me not to be lazy in my writing. Pick up a fucking dictionary, pick up a thesaurus, find a new way to say something, find a new way to describe something. And I think about my life, find new people to hang around. I'm sorry. If I want to publish a novel, I want to surround myself by novelists. If I want to become a filmmaker, then I'm going to go to those spaces where that is nurtured, where I'm filled. I'm not hanging out at the bars at the corner. I'm not going to the pub. I'm not going to be turning up, throwing down shots because that doesn't, listen, that is not a judgment. You do you. If that's your life, do you. But I'm saying that I am not surrounding myself by anything mediocre. Not no more. That's a wrap. And so with that, let's meditate. Sit comfortably and let's breathe. Let's breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep breathing. So I know that even using the word mediocre is going to turn people off. It just feels bad, right? Like saying that someone or something is mediocre, it's saying that something is sort of less than desirable or less than valuable. And the truth is that, if we begin to look at the people in our lives who are mediocre, who are sort of stuck, who aren't going anywhere, who aren't about shit, I'm not saying that these are bad people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that these are people who aren't going anywhere, who are stagnant, who are stuck, who are blocked, who are in their own pain, who haven't found a way out. And if they don't know how to pull themselves out, how can they help you? How can they serve you? Like, there's nothing worse than me being depressed and being surrounded by a group of depressed motherfuckers. That shit does not bring me to the light. That keeps me here. But I will say that where it does serve you to be around people who are like-minded. So if you're in a depression, for me, there was a time that I went to AA meetings and NA meetings, and there was something very comforting about being surrounded by this group of people in recovery who were completely honest and were about healing. So in that way, surrounding yourself by like-minded serves you, because now we're elevating. We're saying we're in this space with people who are like us, people who are going through some things, some really tough things, and are looking for a way out, are looking for a way to save themselves. So that's different. I'm talking about fulanita or fulanito who all they want to do is gossip and talk shit about everybody and their mother. They want to talk about your family members. They want to talk about decisions that people are making, about how people spend their money, about where they're working, what they should be doing, what they should be wearing, and how they're this and how they're that. If you are someone who is trying to elevate, how does that serve you? How does that serve your work? And does that feel good? That's what I'm talking about, mediocre people. I don't want to be surrounded by mediocre things that just keep me here, that drag me down, that weigh on my soul. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So now that we have a definition of mediocre, who are those people in our life? Who are they? Name 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 who are the people that you keep close, yo. People that you keep close. Not fulanita who you haven't seen in 6 months. You know that's not what I'm talking about. I'm asking you to really look at yourself and make a decision. Like, who are the people that you know are no good for the person you're trying to become? Who are they? Now that you have identified who they are, now you have a decision to make. How can you wean yourself off of them? Off of that. Listen, you don't have to tell someone why you've stopped coming around or seeing them. You don't owe anyone any explanation at all. It can be as simple as, I'm working on something right now. I have a deadline. I'm taking a class. I'm working on my art. I'll get back at you. I'll hit you up and continue to do your work. There are loving ways to remove the mediocre from our lives, for real. There are. You just bow out. What's the word that the kids are using this? Ghost. Maybe some people need to be ghosted. I'm just saying. Sounds cold-hearted, but be like a ghost and vanish. Just saying. When you're ready, come out of meditation. Listen, Linda. This is a hard diary for me to record, because I remember telling someone that I love dearly many years ago that they were a crutch, that certain people in my life, my family, were crutches. That if I kept doing the same things that weren't giving me the results I wanted in my life, it was a crutch. It was keeping me back. It was keeping me paralyzed. It was keeping me crippled. And so saying that to someone you love, who isn't ready to hear that or understand what you're trying to say by that, is hard, because you don't want to hurt the people you love. And I certainly didn't want to hurt this person. It wasn't about them. It was about what I needed and what I need today. Because nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. I'm always wanting to be surrounded by people who feel me. And I have a few people that I call, that I don't see very often, but that I can be on the phone with for an hour, 2 hours, and get everything I need, refill, because these are people that always lift me. The conversation's always lifting. Even when we have difficult conversations about what's happening in the world, these are people who are about shit and who are doing shit. And I'm sorry, that's what I want to be. Sorry, not sorry. That's what I want to be around. That's what I will be surrounded by. Punto. And so, as we close today, I am praying that you find ways to remove the mediocre from your life, whatever that means to you. I know what it means to me. And so I'm wishing you an incredible day. If you like what you hear, subscribe to my YouTube channel, my iTunes, my SoundCloud. Follow me on Instagram, Alicia La Santera, Afro Latina Show. I'm on Twitter as Diosa Dominicana, Tumblr, Diosa Dominicana, and email me info.aliciaanabel@gmail.com. I would love to know how you're doing. So let's set an intention for today. My intention for today is to bring it. I have a very special workshop happening today. It is the first time I host a writer's goals vision workshop. And the intention behind the workshop is to set very clear goals for 2018, but come up with an action plan, because it's not just, oh, we're visualizing. No, we're not visualizing. We're not visioning and just affirming, writing very beautiful affirmations and collages. No, that's not what we're doing. We are writing, because that's what writers do. We write. And so today I'm going to bring it. That's my intention, to bring it and be strong and be inspiring and be inspired and be love and supportive and nurturing. And yeah, that's my day. I'm wishing you all love and peace. Adios.